morning to all of you. Welcome back to my training channel Learn with me. In this session we are continuing with the topic the cloud integration, how to consume the external API and save the data into SAP through a OData service using the cloud platform integration, that is in BTP. Okay, so in the last class, in the last session, we have seen up to this place. Okay, that means we created the integration flow. The demo, the integration flow ID is called demo 21, which we were looking into it. The sender will send a request. The request reply will consume the data from external API. You get the JSON file, convert XML, and that XML is splitted into that many number of records which is having in the XML. Suppose XML is having 5 records, then this splitter will tell you 5, split into 5 each, and we are receiving it in an email separately. So up to this place we have seen the functions. Now we are going to continue with the further step to connect to the SAP system using a OData service. So we are going to 2 steps now. First one is we have to do the message mapping, and second one is call the OData service which is inside the SAP system, on-premises SAP system. Message mapping is nothing but from the source schema, map the elements to the target schema and pass the schema to the OData service. So these are all the 2 steps we are going to do it now. Okay. Now please note that this is the place exactly we are going to connect from the cloud to the on-premises system in our company's network. So far we are inside the cloud only. Okay, now it is the point, we reach to the point where we are going to connect from CPI, that is our BTP platform, to the company's network, internal network, to the system, on-premises SAP system. Okay, to do that there is a lot of things behind that, so it is better to understand the architecture behind this structure. Okay. Now see this picture now. This is what exactly we are inside it. This is the cloud platform integration, CPI login, that is this place, whatever we are doing it, which we are referring at this place, which is in the left side of our system, which we refer it as internet. It is in the cloud. The right side is our company's network, where our SAP systems are up and running. So now we should see how to connect this BTP system with our company's network, that is, and SAP system inside that network. I repeat again now, how to connect our BTP with our company's on-premises system inside the network. As you know, this CPI is running on a cloud, that is on the internet. Okay. However, this side, right side, where our on-premises system is up and running, which is inside the company's secured network. So all resources inside this company's network, or all resources or all the services which are you are up and running in the SAP system which are not visible to the internet unless until you have a secured connection. So in general, either you will have a VPN connection, so the user will come into the network using a VPN and then start using the service. Okay. Now, since we are coming from the cloud platform, that CPI network, how to connect this on-premises system, that's what we are going to see it. Okay. Okay, now we are going to introduce a new element called cloud connector. So cloud connector is the service which exactly do this purpose. Let us see the picture now. See the picture now. So what this cloud connector is doing? This cloud connector will do a handshake between our CPI network, that is CPI system, to the on-premises system. Okay, let us see what all there in the CPI now. CPI, we are having a user through which we are logging into the CPI cloud platform, either through a laptop or through the mobile. So we have defined the iFlow, which we generally call this one. This is demo 21. This is what I am referring to as iFlow. In our case, we are using demo 21 as a iFlow concept. So this iFlow, so user will call this iFlow endpoint either through a browser or through any application program. So this will connect to our on-premises SAP system. This is the place we are sitting now. So how this iFlow will understand the service inside this network? That is what the cloud connector is going to do it. What the cloud connector will do? The very first step, it will register the cloud platform details. Okay. Now I will say there is a new concept called SubAccount. What is a SubAccount? Whenever you purchase the subscribe the cloud CPI, you will have a global account in a company name. Then there will be a subaccounts. The subaccounts can be typically we will say development, quality, and production. 3 subaccounts will be there. Okay. Now we created one subaccount in the CPI for a development. So the subaccount ID will be some XYZ. Now this cloud connector will register the subaccount name inside this. How to do this cloud connector configuration, how to do this handshake, we will see it in the next class separately for a cloud connector only. Okay. So what I will do is generally I will log into the cloud connector. I will create the handshake between these two systems. First I will register the left side portion. What is my subaccount? So it will register. The cloud connector will be introduced to the entity called subaccount dev. Maybe we will say the ID number 1. That will be registered, so that any request coming via subaccount, this subaccount dev only, the cloud connector will understand. Otherwise, any request coming to this cloud connector without this subaccount will be rejected. So now the cloud connector will know from which place I should accept the request. Once the subaccount is registered, and then for each subaccount registered, what are all the resources it is linked to? That is what the right side portion we will do. So once the sub account is registered here, then further step, the second step is, for this sub account, what are all the resources this sub account can access to. So the right side we have, assume that there are three systems, SAP R3 I have, SAP S4 on I have, and SAP BW I have. So there are, suppose I have OData service 1 from this one, OData service 2 from this one, and some schema from this one. So what I will do for this sub account, this some services or services inside this R3, some services inside this S4 HANA, some services inside this BW, that I will authorize. So now the cloud connector will exactly understand what request it should accept and what resources it should be accessible to in the right side. So the perfect handshake will be created. Okay, I hope you understand now. So what in the cloud connector configuration, what generally we will do is, first I will log into the cloud connector. I will register this CPI sub account. Okay, first I will log into the cloud connector using a username password, and I will register the sub account. If I have 3 sub accounts, all 3 will be registered here, and for each sub account establish the connection on on-premises system and its resources. Okay, if just for a typical example, I will say for the development server, that is the development sub account, I will register only SAP R3. Okay, it's very just hypothetical example. For the quality, I will say R3 and S4 HANA both, like that. So now you understand the perfect handshake is happened. Then now we will come back to our this place. So when we started creating a OData service, what generally this CPI will understand. Now you know that I am coming from some sub account number ABC. Okay, I will go to this place. So then it will know what are the resources it can access to. So it may be R3 OData services. Okay, so when we go to the OData service, when you type the OData service name in the configuration here, the CPI should understand that OData service, meaning when you put the drop down of the services available here, it should show you the OData services of the on-premises system. That is what we are going to establish now. So let me go to this picture again. I will recap the architecture now. Left side portion is the our CPI. Right side portion is the on-premises system, which is inside the local intranet, which is completely secured by a firewall. And this left side is a CPI, which is in internet cloud. Both are connected via the cloud connector. This cloud connector will know from what all the from which sub account I should receive the request, and for each sub account what are the resources available to them. So it is very secure now. Okay, the final point is, once you created this complete connection, there is a concept called destination. So we have to create destinations in the cloud integration platform. Once our whole connection is established, then I'll be creating a destination for each server I am connecting to. In this case, I will create 3 destinations. One destination for R3, one destination for HANA, and one destination for BW. So behind the scene, this cloud connector is connecting CPI and On Premises in the reference of destination. So inside the CPI, when you configure the OData service in this place, I will go via the destination name. So when I refer this OData services name, then I will refer to the destination name. So this OData service will know what is the destination name. So okay, this destination is connecting to R3, this destination is connecting to S4HANA, like that. So now we will have a complete picture now. Hope you can understand this now. In the next step, I will open the CPI and I will refer back in CPI how these destinations are created, how is referred. I will show in a cloud connector how these registrations are happening. Then you will understand. After that, we will continue with our exact step of the creation of OData service. Okay. We'll see in the next section now. Okay. What we'll do is, let me go to the screen of Cloud Connector. Cloud Connector in general, it will be up and running in a separate machine, which will be available for 24/7, because the connectivity has to be established between the CPI and backend system. It should be available at 24/7. So as long as the Cloud Connector is up and running, this connectivity will be connected. Otherwise, you will lose the connection. Okay. So once it is installed in a separate machine, there is an option to start and stop the service. You can stop the service of a Cloud Connector also. So once it is up and running, this service can be available by putting the URL localhost colon 8443. 8443 is the port on which the Cloud Connector is up and running. So let me log in here. Administrator. Okay, login. Okay, now I will go back to my BTP side. Say this is my BTP account, or this is my sub account. The sub account detail, I can see that here. My technical name is BRP 0Q. Okay, for each sub account there are 9 members are there, meaning 9 user IDs are available. For this sub account there are 23 services available here. So far we set up this 23 service. How we set is through that Cloud Connector we are doing that. So now I will go back to a Cloud Connector, see the same ID I registered here. Now since it is already registered, I cannot re-register the same sub account. So there is an option to, when you install it afresh, there is an option to add the sub accounts, that you can see it here. Okay, once it is added, it will ask you so many questions that I will try to document and show it in a separate screen. So now we will see that it is already registered. Once it is registered, the final output will be like this. When the registration is successful, everything will be in green. What generally it is doing is when you are registering the sub account in this place, it will ask you the user ID and password for this sub account. That user ID and password is exactly equal to the same user ID you are logging into BTP account. For example, I am using my ID Venkat at gmail.com, through which I am coming in. So my password will be something like that. So I have to use this same connection here, Venkat and password, so that this cloud connector will try to connect to BTP using my user ID and password and see that if the connection is successful, everything is okay. But in a practical way, people will not use their personal user ID. They will put a service, a general user ID and password, which is not going to change, company level user ID and password. Okay. So once this connection is established, there is an option called cloud to on premises option. So this cloud to on premises option allows you to create. It will ask you to add resources here. Okay. So you can add resources of each systems here. Okay. So here you can see I have connections to the same ABAP system but in a different protocol. I have 4 HTTP and 3 RFC protocols. So if you go and see my diagram here, I am connecting to the one system only. I am registering for this sub account. For this sub account BTP, BRP, like that, I am connecting to one server with a different protocol. Okay. So for each connection, see what are the resources available. For this one, there is one functional model. That is the only functional model I exposed it. For this connection, I exposed all the directories inside SAP. For this connection, I exposed SAP IWEP and OData services. For this connection, I used all functions starting with BAPI and all function RFCs, like that. Okay. Once this is established, now you know that this is connecting to the different directories of the SAP system, and different functions of SAP systems are exposed. Okay. So now you see. So this is the cloud on premises. These are all the systems I'm connecting to. For this system, resources exposed is this OData service. For this system, the functions are exposed because the protocol is RFC. For this system, these are all the directories, whole path is exposed. Okay. So now the cloud connector is complete. So for this sub account and for this sub account, these are all the missions systems are accessible to, and for each systems, and these are all the resources are accessible to. So that is completely secured. Now I will come back to here in my BTP section. You can see the same thing in the connectivity section, cloud connectors. So it will show you. So you can see that you need not to go to cloud connector always. Once that is done, from our development point of view, we can see the details in here itself. See the same one which you are seeing it here. These things you will be seeing it here, and it shows resources available. That means up and running. If the cloud connector is not connected, then it will give you it is not available. Okay. Now coming to the point of destinations. So what is destination? Destination will be, I will be using this destination. For example, I am connecting to a development server. So I will say this is my gateway, and I will put the same URL which I am seeing the client service 172 blah blah 811, this one. Okay, this is HTTP, this connection I am connecting to. I will say that URL, because you can see that URL here. When you see that, so this URL you can give it, and proxy type is on premises authentication, and this location ID is you can do anything, but generally we will give the user our subaccount ID only, and this is the ID which the development user ID of my SAP system, which having a necessary privileges. Okay, so by this I will create a destination. So remember this destination name, on premises development 400. This is the destination name I gave it. Okay, during the time of OData registration in my BTP, it will ask you the destination reference. So once I give the destination reference, automatically we will take up this one, and it will understand this machine, and it will go to the all resources. You got my point now? When we give a OData reference in this screen, when I give the OData configuration, it will ask me what is your destination. So once I give the destination name, then I will give this name, the destination. This destination will have a link to a cloud connector of this machine, and it will know what are the resources I am accessible to, so that all the services which are available from this place to this place will be visible to you. This is what the whole cloud connector and the BTP, and this makes this configuration complete. So let me just put examples on this place itself. So my subaccount is, what is my subaccount? Subaccount is this one, and I will go to cloud connector. The cloud connector, the subaccount is defined, this one, and for each subaccount, this SAP systems are accessible through the protocol of HTTP, and under this system, these are all the resources available. So the subaccount, the server name, IP address of that, effectively the virtual ID of that server, and under that the /SAP all directory services will be accessible to. So that makes your complete connections. Now we will go back to our thing. Then let us start with our OData configuration and do that. Once we do the OData configuration, the same way I will give the reference of these names so that you will understand. Okay, I hope this is you understand. If you have any doubt, please put a comment so that I will answer it in a descriptive way. Thank you so much. And